Hi, everybody. This is Jackie from Living Life with Jackie. And I want to welcome you to my channel. And where have I been, you may say? Well, I have been around, but I haven't really. I think it's been almost a year since I posted anything on this channel. I kind of lost my mojo as far as YouTube. I mean, I've been watching lots of YouTube, but as far as doing any of my own content creation, things like that. There's been a lot of issues going on in my life, in different areas, physical health and financially, and which created emotional issues for me. And physical health, I've had major surgery, injuries, just general overall health changes that I did not know what to make of, and it kind of left me emotionally distraught. And, like I said, I lost my mojo. On my Fiber Arts channel, I mean, I did present a little bit over there, in that mainly, though, it was boxing openings, because when I get down in the dumps, I spend. Okay, which leads me to the present situation. I've always been a bad money manager, just terrible money manager. And that was okay. It didn't bother me. I paid my bills at the end of the month. They were always paid, but I never saved really anything of any consequence. And if it did get in there, I would usually end up eventually spending it. I didn't really have any other retirement plan other than I knew I was going to get a pension from work. And also that I was, the last couple of years, putting in the maximum amount that the government allowed into a 401k. Now, we did not have a 401k as part of our retirement plan until the last 2 years that I worked, because of a union agreement where I was at. But the last couple of years, they made some changes, took away some benefits, and in return for taking away those benefits for people that were already working there, they kind of grandfathered us into a 401k agreement. And it wasn't much of anything, really. The amount they put in was almost inconsequential. Now, I think if you had been having that pension plan, that 401k for a lot of years, the amount in there would be more significant. But they didn't grandfather any of those people in. They didn't have it. It was, yeah, so, it's a long story. But anyway, so I just continued with my bad money management, but because it wasn't affecting my life in general at that time. Not thinking ahead, really, other than my pension will be fine. And I'll have and if I retire a few years early, which was my plan, there ought to be enough in that 401k by my paying this extra to cover the fact that my pension would not start until a certain year. So that's what I did. I retired at age 62, and I think I probably still would have been fine, but I retired with no debt other than I bought a camper van, and I did buy it with a loan, and that was a big mistake, but I still probably would have been fine because I had no other debt, absolutely none. And but what happened was the pandemic happened. I needed to get an apartment, and I was going to stay there until things got better and you could travel freely again and all of this. And then I had downsized from my previous apartment when I retired, and now I had no furniture, nothing. I bought all brand new, beautiful, lovely furniture. I mean, really nice furniture. It was no way the way a person who's planning on only being there temporarily would act. Okay? You wouldn't believe it. I spent money like there was no end to the money. And of course, I eventually did hit an end of that 401k, which is basically what I was living on. About a year into it, and it should have lasted me at least 3 years. And I spent that all probably about 8-9 months in, and it was gone. And I have been paying for it ever since, because I have been behind ever since. Even though my pension started paying out, what happened by my doing the 401k the way I did is the IRS came in, and even though they took out taxes, apparently that wasn't enough taxes. Plus, it caused my Social Security to get taxed. It just created huge debt that I didn't know how to handle. I did not know how to handle it. And then I had purchased this, what do you call them, a temporary plan. To tide you over until you're eligible for Medicare. Well, a few months after, a little while after that, once I got to Texas, I found out that they were dropping that plan. I got notice from them. They sent me notice that they were canceling that health insurance because I had to live in California. So I either had to move back to California, or they were going to cancel the plan. Please let them know what they was going to do, which I could not afford to move back to California. That was an expensive move. So I went on, they canceled. I went on to .gov and bought an insurance policy there. And I paid for half of it. They said I qualified for much more than that because I had had this major drop in my income. But I thought, that doesn't sound right, because I felt like I could pay for it. So I did. And had an event happen, which didn't require hospitalization or anything, but I had to have some procedures done. It covered all of that. I had a decent copay, but it did cover all of that, and thank goodness no telling what it would have been. And then tax season came up, and I get this notification. They're charging me income tax on all of that. On anything that they covered from that 401k, I'm certainly glad I didn't accept everything. But not that they wanted me to pay taxes on what the insurance plan covered, but I mean on the amount, the value of the policy that I did not pay for, if that makes any sense. The value of the policy that they paid for on .gov, they charged that, counted that as income. They said I shouldn't have received that or something. So there was another big hit with the IRS. And I was just distraught like you would not believe. Things have gone down financially for me from there. I was like, because I kept making payments on that. It was never going down because of all these fees and fines. And then I ended up in the emergency room and ended up with subsequent to that, $250,000 hospital bill. And that does not include the doctors, anything like that. And I kept trying and chugging along with everything. My clothes are all totally worn out right now. It's just a mess. Finally, a couple of months ago, I contacted attorneys, and they said, you just need to not pay anything. They can't take it from you. They can't bother your pension. They can't do this. But they can continue to harass you. But the Internal Revenue Service, if they wanted to, they could come and get that money from you. And then I still had this van. And when I tried to just ask them to come and get it and repossess it, because that's the place I was in, oh, we're going to turn all of that over to the IRS. It'll count as your income. And I was just like, more IRS debt. I was just so distraught over it. And I went to the attorney. I said, I can't do this. What other... And he said, the only other... then I'm going to go ahead and change my recommendation that you go ahead and file a bankruptcy. So that's what I've been doing. Going through Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is an emotional thing in itself. But it's going to... Especially when I know that not all, but most of my problems that happened due to all this were due to me being totally a bad money manager. And I was talking to the bankruptcy attorney about it, and he said, you know, that's the way it is for almost everybody. He said he said even in businesses that they have helped through bankruptcy because a department of their practice also does businesses. He said there's almost always, he said, as a matter of fact, he has never seen one that there wasn't at least some degree. He said even if people come and it's all due to medical debt, he said there's always at least some degree where there's been mismanagement. He said maybe not all, mine was really a bad amount of mismanagement. He agreed to that, but he said, but I just don't think you need to think that this isn't anything that we don't see every day on a regular basis. That's how common this is, which I didn't know that. I thought everybody was managing their money, and here was me, you know, stupid me. And I was ashamed. I wasn't going to say anything on here about it. And finally, one of the attorneys said, you know, maybe you ought to go ahead and talk about it on your YouTube channel, because you might be able to help somebody else through your journey. So I thought about it, and I'm putting my head down, and here I am, facing up to the music as to what happened and what are we doing about it. And we're doing this Chapter 7 bankruptcy. The only debt that I will have left from the bankruptcy is a little bit of more recent internal revenue issues, which is going to take me 4 months to pay off. It's not bad at all. And then I'm going to be keeping my motorcycle because it's my cheapest form of transportation. I have a 3-wheeled motorcycle that I make payments on. So I'm going to be keeping that. I don't have another vehicle right now. My camper van is gone. It's been a maintenance nightmare. $2,000 here, $10,000. They say, oh, you're going to have to pay $10,000. I mean, which I never paid the $10,000. The first time we came up with an alternative. This time there was no alternative, and I just said and then but I did have one of those where you buy an extended service plan when you do. Well, they supposedly fixed it. It's still doing the same thing. Nobody's been able to fix it. This warranty says, we fixed that. No, you didn't. They told you it needed a new engine. You refused to pay for that. You only paid for these parts, and it's not going to fix the problem. It needs the new engine. And they said, we do not cover new engines. So I have a friend, her extended warranty covered a brand new engine for hers. So what I would suggest when you are going through dealers is really look up ratings. If you decide to buy an extended warranty service for a vehicle or anything else, really do research. Don't just be in that office signing. If you really want, either decline it and purchase separate later, which it won't be on your finance with your vehicle if you do that. But I'm just telling you, from someone who has learned through the School of Hard Knocks, find out about these extended warranty companies, and if the one that the dealership you're at is what they cover. Read that contract very, very carefully, and then find out how good they are at covering. Mine had bad ratings all the way around. All the way. This had happened to so many people, and it's all over the internet. Now, out of fear of being sued, I don't want to say the name of the company, but what I will tell you is You really have to research those companies. My brother's covered everything with his. Mine was a fight. And even then, I still had to come up with a large sum of money at the end. I mean, I was totally taken advantage of on that. But once again, that is my fault. It was just this lackadaisical attitude that I took about life on certain parts of life. And it was a way for me to de-stress. I had a very highly stressful job in my career field. And when I got home, I just didn't want any more stress. I didn't even want the slightest stress. And I kind of refused to accept it. So this is just going to leave me with that little bit of IRS debt that's going to take me a total of 4 months to pay off. And, you know, the insurance and stuff that goes with that. And then some other things like quilting subscription boxes and things like that that I shouldn't have had in the first place, that I've got to let those annual subscriptions run out, and then not subscribe again. There are some things like that that need to be honed in. But meanwhile, you guys are going to join me on this journey, if you care to, and budgeting. Now, I'm going to be doing what they call envelope stuffing budget with a 0%. It's a zero end result. I can't remember what it's called. There's a name for it. Part of the bankruptcy, I had to take budgeting classes. So it's where, I can't remember the name of it, but it's where you actually have a zero balance at the end of your month, and that's what you're supposed to have. They want you to have your money down to the last cent somewhere working for you. And so that's what the goal is. I ended up $1.25 extra this time for July, at least in my expected budget. We'll see how it actually works out at the end of the month. But for this week, what we're going to talk about is my expected budget. I'm not doing any envelope stuffing or anything like that now. We'll do that on my 2 paydays during the month. But I am going to talk about my budget, and then the last week of the month, I will show you my budget and how it ended up and how good I did. Both the attorney's helper and also the budgeting class said, to be fair to yourself, give yourself 3 to 6 months to hone in on where and really learn to budget correctly, and also to not be constantly having to juggle your budget around. And I have already done juggling around of it as I remembered something. And, you know, I remember this or that. And so I'm hoping I've got it all covered now. But we will find out. Okay. So I am going to show you, I got this budget book, and I actually got this budget book at the beginning of the year, started to use it, and then never did. And it's really, has everything in it that they said that you needed in a budget book. It's got a calendar, so you can go through there and put down everything that you have to pay during the month and the day it's due, and also whenever you expect to get paid. And they really recommend that you do this. They said, don't think you don't need to do it. And then it's got a really good categorization of the budgets. So it's got, this is my July budget that I'm working on right now. So I thought I would go over the budget with you. Now, I'm not going to lie about my income. It's not that my income is outrageous, but it's a decent amount for a person on a fixed income. I should never have been in the position that I allowed myself to get in. I have had to go to God and ask for His forgiveness, and it took me a while to even forgive myself over this. So, and even now, I just have a lot of shame over it. So we will leave it at that. Now, I get 2 pension checks. They're from one company. One of them is really tiny. It's just a couple $100s a month. because I didn't work over there very often. But basically, I worked for a hospital system where if you worked in the physician's office, that part of the hospital, that part of the organization was considered for profit. And then if you worked in the hospital, that was considered not for profit. And I worked in the hospital as a contract worker for a while, waiting for a job to open up because I wanted to get in on the pension. And I'll talk to you late on another day about some problems with pensions. That'll be for another day's topic. But today we're talking about this budget overview for July. But anyway, so part of that organization was not for profit, and part of it was a for-profit entity, considered a for-profit entity. But it was all one organization. But they paid separately, and you ended up with two separate pensions because of that. So my pension number one is just a couple $100, and then the main bulk of my pension income is in a second payment every month. So my pension income comes to about $2,000 a month, and then my Social Security brings my income up to about $4,380 a month. I was a workaholic. I worked really hard, so and I know there's people that have a lot more retirement money coming in than I do. But I'm single. I should be fine. And I totally acknowledge and accept the blame for the position that I am in. But that is my expected income. It's a little bit off from that. I think it's like $1 off or something like that. So, but that's what I'm expecting, that general amount. So one of the things that I have done is I've gone through, written down all my expenses every month. What are things that are they set in stone? What things can be adjusted? And I'll go into those different categories in a different video as I'm learning more about them. But anyway, I wanted to show you my monthly overview for my July budget, since that's what I'm working on today. But I will be closing my current checking account. The reason for that is I'm very unhappy with some mistakes the bank has made that have impacted me and cost me actual money. And it's not that everybody can make a mistake. It's just that they don't really accept the blame for their mistakes. And these things have happened multiple times throughout the years. And I've been with them for like 30 years. And I don't know why I didn't change before. But I'm right now with me doing this financial re-up. Anyway, it's a good time to change. Like, for instance, they made a mistake they claimed several months ago on my account, and that they needed to charge my account. They said they paid something that they shouldn't have paid, or they double paid it. Still not clear. And so that needed to be charged back to my account, which put me in overdraft of $140. So that includes an overdraft charge. If I can't take care of this overdraft within 48 hours, which was their mistake, they're going to charge me an overdraft fee. I said, this is the final straw. I'm not going to say the name of the bank because I know there's people that love this bank. But I have had issues with them. And it wasn't just my money management issues, because I'm telling you. But they always fixed it. In their defense, they always fixed it. But it almost always caused some sort of problem like this. And then you'd argue with them, and then they'd finally figure out they did it wrong, and suddenly the money would appear back in your account. But never the fees. Never the fees. So anyway, but I am going to leave a $50 buffer in there for a couple of months, just in case there's some little straggling bill or something like that I missed. I've already opened my new bank account, and got that all set up. But it's going to take a couple of months for my auto deposits to change. So I need to leave that bank account open. Then every month I'm going to move my money, but I'm going to leave that because of the mistakes they've been making. I don't want any more mistakes. And but I'm going to leave that buffer in there in case I've made a mistake, or there's a straggler, like some sort of little subscription or something that I've forgotten about that tries to come through. So that's why I'm leaving that for a couple of months, and then I'll pull, if there's $10 in there, whatever, I'll pull it out and tell them I'm pulled my money out. Please close the account. Okay, so now the next, and that's under banking and savings is what that's about. Now we're going to go down here to that $50 buffer is under banking and savings. Then I'm going to go down here to debt payments. I told you about the IRS debt. The amount that I'm going to be left with after this bankruptcy is going to be paid off in 4 payments of $600 a month. And this is in July, I'll be making the first of 4 payments on that, and that will be $600 a month. There may, at the end of that time, be some straggling fees and interest charges that they, haven't been added in yet. But right now, that's what it looks like it's going to take to pay that off. And then, of the recent mistake by the bank, I'm going to put $140 into that bank account to cover that. And I've got that included in my debt category. So my debt category will be $740 for the month of July. Now, I don't have my motorcycle. I have that over here under transportation. So you'll see there's other. Now, my next thing is food category. Right now, I am going to be budgeting for $325 a month, and that may change. But that's going to be my budget. This is a 5-week month. July will be. Now, the first 3 days that I always start my menu planning, which is what they are recommending for somebody like me, is to plan your menu out so that you're not doing impulse shopping at the grocery store. So I decided to start my week of menu planning on a Sunday. So I decided, since most of this next week, July 1st, I think, is a Wednesday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday of that week, I'm going to go ahead and include as part of this month's budget. And then, so that makes July 5 months. 5 full weeks. So now the first week, I'm only going to spend about $25 on groceries. I don't need much of anything. I'm only going to buy a rotisserie chicken, and then I am going to buy one of the 3 packs of the 80/20 hamburger at Sam's Club, which is going to be my contribution for our hamburgers that we're going to have on July 4th at our July 4th celebration. So that's all I'm spending that month. Anything else, I will be shopping my pantry for. The second week, and I'm hoping not to spend this much each week, but that's, I haven't done menus I've only done menus for the first week. But I'm budgeting $81.25 is what I have left in my budget after I take away that $25 for week 1. That leaves me $81.25 a week for the other 4 weeks of this month. And I'm hoping to actually not spend that much money. We're going to see how that goes. Okay, now, my doctor has me going, I'm going to be talking next about healthcare, which you're going to see is a big expenditure for me. I've had some issues. A lot of it I've already gotten paid off before all this started. So that's why it was not in the bankruptcy. Plus, I need for this to keep these people happy. So I don't really have anything past due specifically that I needed to include in the bankruptcy on the medical bills. Not my current. That $250,000 that I told you about, that's all in the bankruptcy. Now, that hospital had lowered that bill down to like 180, 190,000, something like that. But it still was going to be over 200,000, well over 200,000 by the time the doctors and everybody else was paid. Radiologies, CAT scans, all that. That was not included in that hospital bill. So it all still was close enough to 250,000 that it stayed. That's anyway. To me that was a big bankruptcy. That is just a big relief having that off, gone. Okay, but right now I'm doing physical therapy, and for June I owe them $150 for my June physical therapy, and then there will be $270 for my July physical therapy. And I made a deal with them to pay because I didn't know the doctor was going to send me to physical therapy last month. So, and I was paying attorney's fees and all kinds of crap. So I made an agreement with them to pay the last month's bill this month on the 1st. So on the 1st, I will be giving them $150. Then the rest of July, they want you to pay each time you go. Your copay each time you go. So my copays throughout the month will be $270. And that will not be cash because I have to pay all of that digital. My groceries, that's all going to be cash. Okay. So far that is the only thing I've talked about with you that will be cash and will be envelope stuffing, will be my grocery. Then I pay $145 a month towards the co-pays of my COPD inhalers. I had lungs that were damaged by both a combination of the pandemic virus, and also in 2023 I had a flu A that just kind of tipped the bucket. So I got lung damage, and I have to take a maintenance inhaler. Then you have your rescue inhaler, and then if I need it, I have a nebulizer, which I haven't needed in a while, thankfully. And then I have some other meds. The copays are going to hit around $50. For me, it's never been over $50 for everything else. Then I am going for some x-rays. It's 2 different x-rays, so I have to pay $40 copay for each x-ray, so that will be $80. Then I have a remaining bill at Baptist St. Anthony's of $70, and then that will leave me next month paying $30 on that one. Now, I don't really pay rent. What I do, I stay in an apartment for right now on my brother and his wife's property. It's on the side of a garage that's they own 2 lots, and they have a big garage that's on one of the lots, and my apartment is in that garage. It's not the best living situation, but man, I have such a blessing that they gave it to me. And in the spring, I'm hoping in the spring, it may not be till next fall, but I'm hoping in the spring I will be able to move into my own apartment. But right now I pay towards anything that it costs them to have me staying here. Utility bills, different things like that. And that comes to about $450 a month is what I give them to cover all that. And I generally cash stuff that because it's all different things. And it's just easier to divide it up and give it to them that way. I'm also needing my bed thing here that I sleep in. I have to sleep with my head elevated, and so I've been in this recliner. So what I am in my bed my mattress is pretty much gone on my bed, and I think part of the reason that I'm having to go to physical therapy due to all this pain is because of my sleeping situation. So I feel pretty like it's very important for me to go ahead and fix that. And Amazon is still, despite everything going on, I'm going to be making payments on a new. It's a bed that turns into a chair, and it's made for this people in this kind of situation, for health care reasons. So it's expensive, but I'm going to pay it in $146 a month for 5 months. So I'll be paying ordering that as soon as I can. I needed to order it in a way it's delivered in a way that my brother can help me get it in here. And I have to get this old furniture out. So I don't know exactly what day I'll be ordering that, so I have to wait on him. And then I need a new shower mat, which I'm ordering through Amazon, and that will be $14. And then I didn't have a good category in here for my cell phone bill. So right now my cell phone bill is with Verizon, and that's probably going to be a little less than this because I recently paid off my phone. So I can't remember how much of that phone bill was my phone and how much of it was my phone bill. So I put 100 here. We'll see what it actually comes out this month. I haven't received it yet. It comes as an email every month for me. So anyway, so that's all under housing. At some point, I will be getting a different, less costly phone service that's for seniors. And then I'm going to get Starlink because there's not a good internet service out here. And I'm going to be here for a while. Plus, I plan on doing some traveling. That's a long story ahead. And just anyway, I'm going to have need for something that's portable. So I'm going to get the portable Starlink. And it's cheaper than getting internet and phone together. This phone service anyway, and internet here is expensive, that I can bring out here anyway, where we're at. It's not the regular type of internet service. So, but right now I'm still with Verizon, and I will be for another couple of months. And so that category, which is all housing, and so I guess I'm putting anything that would be like a utility bill, anything under that housing, because it doesn't have another category that I thought it fit in. And that's $710 a month. Now they have personal, and so I have that divided up into beauty, which I just need a haircut. I need it pretty bad, but I had 2 episodes happen this month that kind of affected my ability to do that. And one of them was I have an autoimmune disorder that causes skin breakouts. And my scalp, it itches incredibly. And I scratch it, and I'm embarrassed about that. It's all over my body. You've probably seen little bits of it. And it gets on my scalp. And this time it went all in my ears. I've never really had it quite that bad before. But anyway, and it's incredibly itchy, and I scratch at it. And now it's going away. This episode seems to be calming down. And plus I put a lot of ointment and stuff on my scalp. That's pleasant in 100-degree heat, let me tell you. But anyway, and it does, though, help clear it up. But the problem is now I'm embarrassed to go until all the scabbing goes away. And that really itches. And see, I just scratched again. So I've got to stop scratching so it can heal. I want to get my hair cut, and it needs cut badly. And so the place where I normally go is about $30. And I have hygiene here, but I'm well stocked on everything from that. I don't believe I'm going to need anything in July, so I don't have anything budgeted for that. Then I have my wallet, which will be money that's in my wallet in case it's needed. It's not really categorized. I don't know if I need this much. This is like a new thing for me, but I am going to I won't be carrying $100 around with me all the time, but I will have $100 put aside with my cash stuffing, and some of it will be in my wallet in case I get out and something happens and I need it. So I'm putting aside $100 for that type of thing. Now, normally there would be tithe in here in the future. Now, tithe for me is part of it is what goes to my church, and then I'll have a couple of other categories where I do donations to other organizations. So that will be here, but this month I won't be doing that. Just because I need to recover from this a little bit. Now we're going down here, and here's going to be another big ticket item in this next category, which needs a lot of cleaning up, and I have started working on this. I'm a quilter. I love fiber arts, and I had subscribed to several subscription services where they send you thread, they send you fabric, they send you a block of the month, things like that. Now, the block of the months, once you're in on those, you really can't stop them and remain in good graces. I'm telling you, there's a thing that you agree to when you sign up to do the block of the month, because they're incorporating this expense to do this for you already. So because you've already gotten a lot of the product that you need, like your background, just different things. So anyway, to make a long story short, some of this I can cancel and some of it I cannot. So the ones that I have canceled, I already have, but I'm still left with a big bill from it every month. So I call this my box subscriptions, so therefore I can't spend anything on my hobbies. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, this is probably always going to be budgeted for quite a bit every month, because I love what I do, and it is what keeps me sane in my retirement. But I cannot spend what I cannot afford to spend. So by not having box subscriptions in the future, I'm going to keep 2 of the different subscriptions because they actually save me a lot of money, but all the rest of them are going. And by not having all of these different subscriptions, it will enable me to buy things better when they're on sale, instead of just because, I already bought that through that box subscription. It'll give me more flexibility, and I won't be frozen into that subscription. Now, in 2027, I have joined 2 already, but they're fairly low cost. So I'm going to go ahead and do those, and then I'm going to keep these 2 that I'm keeping now. Some of these I cannot get rid of until the spring of next year, because that's when the agreement runs out. Because they just started like in February. So I will have those throughout the rest of this year and into spring. But after that, I will not continue them. But so I've got nothing on hobbies because my box subscriptions are $315 a month. So yeah, that really needed cleaned up. Now, I have not been putting aside any money for eating out or entertainment, and so I haven't been going anywhere. And I decided I'm going to go ahead and budget some money for that. Right now it's $120 a month. I don't know if I'll spend that much or not. I don't know. But that's what it is, and we're going to see how that all goes. Then I do subscribe. My streaming service is Dove TV. Now, in addition to that, I do get Paramount Plus, part of my Walmart service, and I'm going to keep that for several reasons I'll talk about in a minute. And I paid extra so that I could get a local TV channel on it, and I'll talk about why in a minute when I get down to that. But my main TV is Dove TV, and it's Christian documentaries, weekly TV shows, and movies is what it is. Then I got so that is my monthly entertainment right now, and that's $457 a month. So you can see how much of that is eaten up by those box subscriptions. Now, if I'm going to spend, I may end up having that much that I am using for my hobbies. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping to be able to keep that, but I want if I'm having a month financially that's a little tight, I want to not be stuck. And the other thing is I also may want to be able to vary it a little bit instead of someone else choosing. Like one of the boxes that I got recently, I cannot stand the fabric that was in it, and I normally love that box, but I want to be able to, so it's that kind of a deal. Now, then over under transportation, I have my motorcycle payment. That's $225. I did get rid of my van payment, which was $789 a month. That's gone. I got my Ryker insurance, which is for this motorcycle, it's called a Ryker. It's a 3-wheeled bike. For $125 a month. My gas right now, I have budgeted $40 a month. Right now, I'm not spending that. But I would like to start doing maybe some jaunts or something early in the morning before it gets hot. So we'll see. I know there's some maintenance that's going to be coming up just because it's time to do it on my motorcycle. So I'm putting $100 aside to put into my envelope to cash stuff to start getting ready to pay that as that expense comes due. Then there is a vehicle that a relative has. They may let me use, but in return I just need to get the brakes done on it, and I think they're down to where the rotors are affected. So but right now we just need to get it here, and that's going to be the gasoline to go get it from them. I think it's going to be about $300 for the trip to go there. And someone else is going to have to drive me, so I need to pay for the gas. Then my AAA is also going to be due this month. I keep AAA as a senior solo driver. Now, I am on my motorcycle right now, and it doesn't cover the motorcycle. I thought it did. Come to find out, it doesn't. Now, for a car right now, they're letting me resubscribe for $35.99 a month. But it's extra to get the motorcycle added on. I haven't been able to figure out how much that is yet. So this is a temporary number here it's not a month, it's $35.99 a year. I'm sorry. So I'm thinking that'll increase it maybe to around $60 a year. I'm not certain. But for right now, that's what I have budgeted. Somebody else told me, Jackie, it's not. It's just $12 a year it adds on. So I don't know. But we're going to see how much it is. And right now, transportation, I have budgeted at $850 a month. Okay, now it talks about shopping. Now, why I am keeping Amazon Prime and I am keeping Walmart Plus. One is because of my transportation issues right now. It's expensive. You have to pay to have food delivered. And I also I need to figure out when this is going to come due. It's an annual. I have the upgraded Sam's membership where you get free shipping and everything. And I will be keeping that when that comes. I think that might be next month. And I will be keeping that when that happens. And the reason being is because of the whole transportation issues. I can have heavier non-perishables through Sam's shipped for free if I order $50 worth. And so I'll just let things accumulate until I need $50 from Sam's. In Walmart Plus, one of the main reasons is the delivery service, but I'm going to try not to use the delivery service. I'm going to try. That's why I have my groceries divided up into weekly. And the reason being is you tip, and I think people deserve their tips. But the problem for me as a senior on an income that is never going to go up for a reasonable amount anyway, we do get cost of living adjustments on Social Security, but a good deal of mine so far has been eaten up by increased costs of Medicare. And I pay for Medicare every month, and that has gone up every year. And plus, they're telling us our Social Security may go down now as soon as 3 years from now. They keep changing it. So I don't know. But anyway, how did I get started on that? But anyway, sometimes, but having 20%, 10 to 20% added on for tip is a difficult situation for me, budgeting. So what I am trying to do is, because if I order, it's going to have to be included in that amount, $81.25, that tip is. So that means I can order 20% less groceries. Spend 20% less on groceries, because most of the tip on there now starts at 15 to 20%. A lot of times I lower mine down to 10. It depends on how much it is. If it's not enough money, I don't lower it down to 10. But my grocery orders are smaller nowadays. So if I spent $81.25, that means $8 and some odd cents are going to go towards tip. And I need to keep that $81.25 to buy groceries with, see? So, I'm going to be doing pickup, or try to just be going to get my own getting my own groceries from now on. So I don't have to worry about having them bring it to the car and my feeling like I need to tip. Nothing like that. And like I say, I don't begrudge them the tip. It's just nothing that I can afford right now. So, but Walmart Plus, they do have a delivery fee if you don't have Walmart Plus. So I'm going to keep it just in case I do need to use delivery. Now, Amazon Prime, I will be keeping Prime for a while now. And I'm actually kind of hoping not to keep it into next year, but we're going to see. Because I order some of my, some food products from there, because once again, it's delivered. Now, the other thing that I have is I'm ordering a budget system for envelope stuffing. Don't get me wrong. I know I don't need this. I do know it's a want. But I'm going to go ahead and get it. It's $41. And then I need a new wallet. My puppy chewed my wallet up. Literally chewed it. Anything that's in it falls right out because it's been chewed up. So some of my cards even got chewed up. My library card, things like that, chewed up. So anyway, I need a new wallet, and I found one that I liked for $25, and it will also have little categories in it for my cash stuffing, for me to keep the stuff that I could keep, that I'm going to be thinking I might spend that day in it. So anyway, it's set up for people that do cash stuffing. So I'll be getting that. So my total shopping budget for next month is $96.75. I need new clothing. It won't be happening. It's not in the budget for new clothing this month. Pet care. This will normally have some other things in it, but for July, I'm going to be trying to get my male Dotson neutered, and I'm going to try to get him his shots. And I'm going to be going to a low-cost shot clinic, and they also do neutering there. So that's where I'll be taking him for that. It's significantly cheaper than taking him to my vet. And so we're going to do that. And then next month, I'll be taking my little Yorkie Poo in for her shots. Then for flea care, I need to buy some of that this month. That's going to be $60. So that will be $230. So that brings, that total comes to $4,378. So I have not met my goal of having a zero bottom line. Because I still have $1.25 to spend. As I said, that will be going into my regular bank account. So I realize this is long. I think it'll go by much faster once I get into this and I learn how to do it all better. But I thought some of you may be interested in the journey, going on this journey with me. And let's see how many more times we have to change this budget around. I'm kind of excited about it now. There's certain aspects of it, like I say, there's a lot of shame connected with it for me, and a lot of embarrassment, just the whole thing. But at the same token, as I'm getting more and more into it, I'm getting excited about it. So I'll be having some sort of video on this weekly. Each time I get paid, I'll have a cash stuffing. I will talk about my budget for the month, and then we will have a cash stuffing episode, cash stuffing opportunity there, in envelope stuffing, they call it. And then at the end of the month, we will go over how last month's budget went, how it all went. Did I do a good job? Was it enough to cover? What kind of changes have I had to make? So we'll be doing 3 episodes a month here on my video vlog, where we talk about this new budgeting system and how it's going for me. And then there'll be new things that I implement along the way. I'm going to have challenges that are fun with games. You actually, if you've been watching any of the other cash stuffing videos, they have games and you roll the dice. And to me, that just kind of looks like fun. So probably do some of that. They're savings challenges is what they are. And also how well I did just making the planning of the budget. And we'll be adding just different components to it. I'm going to be adding a lot of different categories to it, things like that. I'm actually hoping to get my food budget down a little bit more. We're going to see how that goes. And my medical bills will definitely be going down. The IRS will be getting paid off in about 4 months. That overdraft will be gone. There's just a lot here that will add and maybe give me some more so I can plan some a weekend excursion or something like that, or maybe just a good nice day drive, something like that on my motorcycle. Go out early in the morning before it gets hot and just spend some time driving around, something like that. So that's it. We will see you guys on the next video. We're going to be doing a weigh-in Wednesday starting I weighed last week at the doctor's office, and I'll talk about all of that in a different video, but yeah, that doesn't go along with this topic, so I will just drop that. I will see you guys on my next video, where we'll talk about on Monday, actually next Wednesday is when we start talking more and more about my weight loss plans. I've been to see the doctor, talked about different options, so I'd like to talk with you about what options I took advantage of and how we're going to be doing it. What kind of a food plan will I be following? And then we're going to have a weekly check-in about that, and I'll be having some what I ate in a week videos so you can see how I ate that week, and I'll be even talking about recipes as we go. So, and my recipes won't be anything special because I'm going to try to mainly be using portion control. But we'll talk about it and what my doctor has advised me to do. So we'll go from there. And I'm kind of excited about that too. So I have several new things happening and going on in my life right now that are kind of, I think, making this future look brighter. Because I think my sleeping situation, because of my breathing, I'm having to sleep with my head elevated. I think that is an awful lot of the pain that I've been having. So I really think once I get this improved, my medication has helped me with my breathing a lot. I'm not coughing nearly as much. And the doctor has changed my medication again to a different inhaler. So there's just a lot that I am very, very optimistic about right now. And so come and join me as we talk about a lot of those things. And I'll be joining a gym. So I'm pretty excited about it. So we will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.